Europe is home to some of the most significant, stunning, and influential cities on Earth, drawing more than half of all tourists annually. Its relatively small size belies its astounding diversity. The Mediterranean Sea lies between the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean, and the vast Asian landmass. Europe's cities are renowned around the world for their illustrious historical sites, exquisite art, and exquisite architecture. Everywhere you go, there are numerous top-notch pubs, restaurants, boutiques, and museums, which wonderfully complement the city's many breathtaking sights. Europe's cosmopolitan cities all have their own distinct taste and personality because its 44 distinct countries are all home to a wide variety of peoples, languages, and cultures. Number 20. Budapest. The capital of Hungary and one of the most romantic cities in Europe, Budapest needs no introduction. It's crowned by the sprawling mystery of Buda Castle and cut in half by the winding Danube. Over the years, Budapest has shaped itself into a mysterious yet glittering personality. From famous universities attracting erudite students to sleepless clubs and bars, bubbling thermal baths, and wide green areas, this city has it all. History seekers will be enchanted by the Buda Castle, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Foodies will be satisfied by the countless food stalls in the central market. And in the evening, go to the Fisherman's Bastion to admire a sunset view to die for. Although the past is always present in Budapest, the city is known for its freewheeling take on modern life too. Number 19. Bucharest. Romania's capital and commercial center has a great energy, and the locals know how to have fun. Without doubt, Bucharest's most iconic landmark is the communist-era Palatul Parlamentului government building. With 1,100 rooms and its massive blueprint, it's the second largest building on the planet. Enjoy everything, from the nightlife in the Lipscani district to the 15th century Curtea Vece Palace, where Vlad the Impaler once ruled. Must-sees include the Romanian Athenaeum and Sismigui Garden. The city is a combination of modern capitalism and remnants of the communist era, but tucked away in surprising pockets are graceful villas, 17th century churches, lovely parks, and trendy cafes. Number 18. Venice. Who could fail to love a city whose streets are made of water, whose buses are boats, and where the songs of gondoliers linger in the air? It is a magic city, and its major attraction to the tourists is the city itself. The hub of the city is the broad Piazza San Marco, St. Mark's Square, surrounded by several of its top tourist attractions. The Great Basilica of St. Mark stands beside Doge's Palace, and overlooking both is the tall Campanile. Gondolas congregate at the end of the plaza in the Grand Canal, and in the other direction, a gate under the clock tower leads into a warren of narrow winding passageways, where you're sure to get lost on the way to Rialto Bridge. But getting lost is one of the greatest pleasures of Venice, where a postcard scene awaits around each corner. Number 17. Stockholm. Stockholm is widely said to be one of the most picturesque and user-friendly cities in Europe and has an ambience of clean air that blows in off the Baltic Sea, as well as wide-open spaces, woodlands, and parks. There is also a strong dedication to history in Stockholm that can be felt when you venture to the old town center of Gamla Stan, where you'll find historic buildings as well as dainty cobbled streets that wind around the island and give visitors the chance to explore on foot. For some maritime history, head down to the harbor to see the Vasa, a warship that dates from the 17th century and escaped a watery end after being preserved and restored. Make the most of Sweden's open green spaces with a trip to the central park of Kungsträdda Garden, where locals go to relax and enjoy the splendid scenery. Number 16. Warsaw. Poland's capital was left in ruins after World War II. Almost 85% of its buildings have been turned to ash or systematically razed by Nazi forces. As soon as the war ended, the city embarked on a massive effort to reconstruct its historic center using original plans. As a result, the Baroque and Renaissance merchant houses you see today are perfect replicas of the originals. Warsaw might not have as many parks as Krakow, but Leszczyński Palace and its formal gardens more than make up for it. This 18th century palace is surrounded by 76 hectares of urban forest and is home to a planetarium, an outdoor theater, pavilions, and much more. For a very different outdoor adventure, walk down Krakowski Promenade, Warsaw's best architectural street. Old homes, monuments, the Presidential Palace, and the Polish Academy of Sciences are all steps from each other here. Number 15. Lisbon. Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, is one of Europe's most alluring cities. Set on the banks of the river Tagus, this vibrant Atlantic port is scattered over a series of hills that heighten its splendid waterfront location. Exploring the city's historic core is a journey into the fascinating past, a heritage exemplified by celebrated visitor attractions, such as the mighty Castillo de São Jorge and Alfama, the oldest part of Lisbon. A collection of world-class museums extends the cultural experience. To the east, away from the city center, you can marvel at the modernity of Parque de Nações, its crowd-pulling sights such as the brilliant Oceanário. Across to the west is Belém. Portugal's golden age of discovery is mirrored in the magnificent Mosteiro de Hieronymus and the quirky Torre de Belém, both UNESCO World Heritage Sites. In between, you can amble across handsome tree-lined squares, stroll along broad riverfront esplanades, or take in jaw-dropping panoramas from various miradouros or viewpoints dotted across the city. Number 14. Athens. Athens is the cultural center of Greece, counting thousands of years of history. The city that took the name from goddess Athena after her battle with Poseidon is known all over the world as the city that gave birth to democracy and laid the foundations for what we today call Western culture. Athens simply has it all. If you are a fan of history, there are few cities in the world that can compare with the land of Pericles and Socrates. For those wishing to delve deeper into Greek culture, Athens offers many options to visitors to discover authentic traditions and the rich heritage of the people. Fans of Greek mythology will be fascinated by the revival of the stories and legends by joining one of the many Greek mythology tours. Athens is famous for its archaeological ruins and monuments such as the famous Acropolis, the Parthenon, the ancient Agora, and the Theater of Dionysus, just to name a few. However, Athens is not just about ancient ruins. This bustling city is also an important center for business, culture, and nightlife. Number 13. Berlin. If you're only ever able to make a single trip to Germany, you'll want to spend at least a few days in Berlin. The country's capital is undoubtedly one of the most dynamic and vibrant cities in Europe, as popular for its superb dining experiences as it is for its shopping and entertainment. Berlin is also considered one of Europe's top cultural destinations, home to numerous excellent art galleries and museums just waiting to be explored. Generally a little quieter than the busy Mitte area, it's home to many pleasant parks and gardens, including the Zoological Garden. Number 12. Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik, Croatia's most glamorous tourist destination and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, centers on the magnificent Old Town area, contained within sturdy medieval defensive walls. Any first-time sightseeing tour of the city should begin with a walk around these sturdy old ramparts, which incorporate fortresses, towers, and cannons along the way. Located at the southern tip of Croatia off the Adriatic Sea, Dubrovnik was established in the 7th century on maritime trade. In spite of constant territorial threats from Venice and the Ottoman Empire, Dubrovnik flourished in the Middle Ages as a center of literature, art, science, and education. Other fun things to do in Dubrovnik include exploring the Stradon, a wide 300-meter-long pedestrian thoroughfare lined with boutiques, cafes, and restaurants that's famous for its white limestone cobblestones. Number 11. Zurich. Zurich is Switzerland's largest city, a major transportation hub, and a top starting point for travelers. The city lies at the northwestern end of Lake Zurich, astride the river Limmat. Beyond its button-up facade, this affluent banking capital boasts a rich lineup of cultural treasures. A great place to begin a walking tour is the cobbled streets of the Old Town, with its quaint shops, cafes, and galleries. Mile-long Bahnhofstrasse, one of Europe's finest shopping strands, beckons with designer stores selling fashion, watches, and jewelry. Venturing away from the boutiques, visitors will find more than 50 museums and 100 art galleries, as well as many other tourist attractions. From the city, take a train ride to Uetliberg Mountain for panoramic views of the city and countryside. Number 10. Barcelona. The second largest city in Spain offers a completely different travel experience compared to Madrid. Its coastal location gives it a more resort feel, complete with warm, sunny weather to enjoy on most days of the year. It's on the country's northeast coast by the Mediterranean Sea and also seems to have a much modern, progressive vibe than Madrid and other Spanish cities. Must-see tourist attractions in Barcelona include the city's immense Sagrada Familia modern cathedral and the Joan Miró Museum, conceived by the iconic artist himself before his death. Other good places to see in Barcelona include the city's almost 3 miles of beaches and La Rambla, a huge tree-lined, pedestrian-only street. It's where the entire city seems to come out for a stroll. Be sure to take the funicular up to the summit of Tibidabo, a local mountain with a beautiful church and amusement park at the top. You'll also be rewarded with spectacular views of the city and surrounding countryside. Number 9. Oslo. Surrounded by green hills and mountains, Norway's capital, Oslo, is set in a scenic spot at the end of the Oslofjord Forge, with an abundance of lakes and islands nearby. A major economic, cultural, and political center, the city has a long history that dates back more than 1,000 years. While most of the capital is now home to creative and contemporary architecture, pockets of old wooden buildings are still found here and there. As well as its thriving performing arts scene and packed festival schedule, the city boasts excellent museums and art galleries. The Viking Ship Museum is particularly fascinating to explore. Due to its many green spaces and forests, Oslo also has several hiking and cycling spots, with the islands of the inner Oslo Fjord home to stunning scenery. Number 8. Istanbul. Once the capital city of the Ottoman and Byzantine empires, Istanbul is now Turkey's largest city and one of the world's largest. Istanbul spans both sides of the Bosphorus, a short strait connecting Asia and Europe, making it the Earth's only city to straddle 2 continents. Istanbul is one of the world's top tourist attractions because of its impressive architecture, historical monuments, cuisine, shopping, nightlife, and cosmopolitan environment. The Old City is home to most of the city's ancient sites, including the Hagia Sophia, Blue Mosque, and Topkapi Palace. New City is another primary place notable for its modern attractions, towers, and shopping malls. Beyoğlu and Galata are prominent nightlife and entertainment districts, while the Bosphorus region is home to stunning palaces, waterfront homes, and urban parks. A shopping affair is not to be missed in the Grand Bazaar, one of the world's oldest and largest covered markets. Visiting a Turkish bath is also a great way to experience the local culture. Number 7. Copenhagen. Cool, calm, and sophisticated, Copenhagen is every inch a 21st century Scandinavian capital. It should come as no surprise that Copenhagen is the top traveler's choice when it comes to beautiful places to visit in Denmark. The city is home to world-famous landmarks such as the Little Mermaid statue and Tivoli Gardens. In addition, Copenhagen is a great place to enjoy Danish culture, food, and nightlife. Copenhagen is bustling with life, and especially during the warm months of summer, you will see the city come to life like no other. Known for its Dutch Renaissance architecture in the Christianshavn neighborhood, Copenhagen has a horizontal landscape marked with some neat castles and medieval churches. Number 6. Edinburgh. If you're only able to visit one city in Scotland, make it Edinburgh. The country's capital is home to well-preserved architecture from a number of different periods of history, including medieval times to the more recent New Town area, much of which was built in the 18th century. A highlight of this newer part of the ancient city is simply wandering around the many elegant Georgian townhomes, taking in the grass market. This attractive pedestrian-friendly public square is popular for its shops, galleries, and cafes. Edinburgh is also an important cultural destination, hosting numerous popular events and festivals throughout the year. One of the largest art festivals in the world, the famous Edinburgh Fringe Festival, draws huge crowds, as do the Edinburgh International Book Festival and the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, the latter held in the grounds of the castle. Number 5. Vienna. Austria's illustrious capital has long upheld its reputation as a hub of classical music and art and ornate Baroque architecture. The city's exquisite cuisine also makes it one of the most desirable places to visit in Austria. Ranked as the world's top city for quality of life, it is also a popular choice among expats. The largest city in Austria is the epitome of elegance and hosts more than 200 grand balls every year. There are numerous opulent landmarks to explore too, including the magnificent Schönbrunn Palace, the Hofburg, the Rathaus, and the Belvedere Palace. Whether you want to watch the Vienna Philharmonic perform at the State Opera House, take in the sights of the city on a cruise along the Danube River, or enjoy a world-class meal at a Michelin-starred restaurant, a visit to Vienna is sure to impress. If you prefer to relax in nature, an idyllic walk through the Berggarten or sprawling National Park Donau-Auen is not to be missed. Thrill seekers, meanwhile, can get their kicks on the funfair rides at the iconic Prater amusement park. Number 4. Amsterdam. Amsterdam is usually the starting point for most visitors vacationing in the Netherlands. This stunning city is steeped in rich history and offers plenty of things for tourists to enjoy. One of Europe's most popular tourist destinations, Amsterdam is widely known for its party atmosphere, cannabis practice, and the red light district. However, this capital city of the Netherlands offers so much more for all travelers, such as its beautiful canal ring, historical buildings, world-class museums, and famous attractions like the Anne Frank House, Vondel Park, and Bloemen Markets, the floating flower markets. Surrounded by an elaborate canal system that features dozens of islands and hundreds of bridges, the center is where most tourists spend their time enjoying canal cruises, sightseeing, and visiting impressive arts museums. Amsterdam also has many outdoor spots that offer fun activities, such as the Het Amsterdamse Bos, where tourists can wander through the blossoming cherry trees, canoe on the lake and rivers, or climb and walk along the treetop trails at Klim Park Fun Forest. Number 3. Rome. Both for its history as the capital of much of ancient Europe and for its present-day role as one of Europe's most vibrant cities. For most tourists traveling to Italy, Rome heads the list of places to visit. Relics of its ancient glories, the Colosseum, the Forum, the Pantheon, the Appia Way, and the Palatine Hill, vie with the vast riches of the Vatican as the top attractions. But between the important sites like the Sistine Chapel and Michelangelo's Pieta, take time to enjoy the city itself. Relax in the Borghese Gardens, eat gelato on the Spanish Steps, explore the narrow streets of Trastevere, sip morning cappuccino in cafes, window shop on the Via Veneto, and toss a coin in Trevi Fountain so you can return again and again. It will take several trips to see it all. Number 2. London. While it's possible to plan a trip to the UK without visiting London, it's certainly not to be advised. The nation's sprawling capital boasts plenty of attractions to keep you busy. For those interested in learning more about the UK's rich history, one of the top things to do in London is visit the Tower of London. Located beside the spectacular Tower Bridge on the banks of the River Thames, this former palace and prison includes highlights such as the iconic 1,000-year-old White Tower, with its fascinating display of armor and weaponry, and the Jewel House, home to the crown jewels. Fans of Britain's royal family will want to head to Buckingham Palace, London's royal home since Queen Victoria's reign. The city's Whitehall Road area is another must-visit, where you'll find Big Ben and the Parliament buildings, as well as Westminster Abbey, scene of many a royal wedding. Number 1. Paris. Appreciated for its elegance and joie de vivre, Paris is a grand European capital filled with architectural masterpieces like the Eiffel Tower and the Notre Dame Cathedral. Attracting more than 45 million visitors annually, Paris is the world's most popular tourist destination. Other charms of Paris are its atmospheric medieval quarters and graceful boulevards. A short train ride from Paris is the UNESCO-listed Château de Versailles. Built for Louis XIV, this opulent 17th century palace is a testament to the glory and absolute power of the French monarch. The chateau's splendid Baroque facade, dazzling hall of mirrors, and fountain-adorned formal gardens allow visitors to imagine a scene of France's bygone royal courts. Called the capital of fashion, Paris is home to some of the world's finest designer names, including Yves Saint Laurent, Lancôme, L'Oréal, and Christian Dior. The city's shopping scene ranges from shopping centers to open-air markets, boutiques, and flea markets.